Yo, what's up YouTube and everybody out there watching? It's a nice day today. I've had people been asking me lately how to wheelie and some advice and what tips I can give on learning faster. So I'm gonna take the time out today and do a video on like how I would teach somebody how to wheelie and some things that I do to be comfortable while doing a wheelie, and hopefully it can help somebody out there. So I ain't even gonna do too much talking. I'm over here in the trails, but I do have a little spot right here to practice, so we're just gonna get right into it. So the first thing I would say is find somewhere safe to practice, preferably like a field or somewhere with grass. But if you're comfortable on concrete, then that'll work even better, honestly, because the grass could be uneven sometimes. So depending on where you ride, if the grass is uneven, it could be harder to get the balance. But today I'm right here. This is my spot where I like practice and just ride sometimes when I got nothing to do. This the wheelie strip right here. Before I even start the video though, we all know this is your back brake right here on the left side, and this is your throttle right here. So these are the most two important things on your bike when you're doing a wheelie. Your back brake is the most important, and your throttle, they're both pretty equal on how important they are, but the back brake is what's going to save you. The throttle, you just have to know how to control it, and that takes some time. So the first step I would say, well, on an electric dirt bike, it's usually two modes. You could put it in eco or sport. I would start in eco. So right now, if you can see, it's in eco. And you're just gonna wanna come out in an open area. And the first thing I would do is keep my feet down. Keep your feet on the floor and keep your hands on the handlebars. Just like that. Feet on the floor, hands on the handlebars. And you're in eco, you're just gonna wanna pop the bike up little by little. And right here is your back brake. As soon as it pops up, you wanna hit the back brake and bring it right down. And that's just getting you used to being on your brake, the muscle memory of pressing your brake, because that's real important. You got to have that instinct to hit your brake when you're in danger of falling back. So I would say just practice that until you could get the bike up pretty high and bring it down just like that. So I would just go back and forth, back and forth. That's what I do with like some friends that I teach. They go back and forth and just pick the bike up, jam the brake, bring it down. So that'll be the first step. I would say practice that just as much times as you can until you get super comfortable with pressing the brake. And the throttle, you know how much throttle it takes in eco to bring it up. And that'll be the first step. So we're gonna move on to the second step now. So you're just gonna be at a standstill like this and try to bring the bike up and be gentle on the throttle. And just try to hold it as long as you can. I wouldn't say like, don't try to overdo it and power wheelie to where you're going so fast, but just try to hold it as much as you can. Just now, I didn't even press the brake. So when you're doing that, you kind of don't need the brake until the bike comes back. But I wouldn't recommend trying to bring it all the way back yet. But just keep doing that too, going back and forth. Keep your feet planted and just bring it up. And be gentle on the throttle, barely hitting the throttle. It'll just stay right up. And if it comes too far back, press the brake, just like that. Keep it gentle. You don't need the brake. It'll just keep going. Because now your weight is down because both of your feet is on the floor. No brake. So I mean, that's the best way to start before you actually put your feet on the pegs, or at least 1 foot on the peg, to try to get that balance. So now, once you've done that and you can actually carry it a little bit, going back and forth, you know, keep practicing, and you're able to control the throttle, and if you need the brake, you use the brake. The next step would be to put 1 foot down and keep 1 foot on your peg. Whichever foot you're most comfortable with, you could keep on the peg, and the other foot you would keep down. And you're just gonna do the same thing, but with 1 foot, so that way you could get used to having at least 1 foot on the peg, and then you'll transition to both feet after you get comfortable with that. So this is with 1 foot, keep 1 foot down, pick up the bike. I'm not using no brake, but now I need the brake because I'm back. And remember, we're doing all of this in eco. I don't know about every bike, but I'm on the Talaria XXX, and this has more than enough power in eco to do those beginning steps that I just told you about. So you're just gonna keep doing that back and forth. You're gonna keep 1 foot down and keep 1 foot on your peg and just lift it. And just play with the throttle. You don't want to hold the throttle and hold the brake, because one thing about these bikes is if you ride the brake, like you're holding the throttle and you're holding the brake in, trying to keep it at one level, just holding the brakes will get too hot, and then it could cause something called brake fade, where the brake doesn't engage as sticky as it would. So when you hit the brake to come down, it may not catch and you could fall backwards. So your throttle control is really important. You really want to have that down pat and just practice that the most, really. The brake, you really want to have that down, but the throttle control is very important as well. So that's what I'll say, like back and forth, 1 foot down, come to a complete stop to get it up a little easier, and just bring it right up. And when you bring it up, you don't want to let the throttle off. Some people will bring it up and then let off the throttle completely, but that's going to bring the bike down. You want to bring it up, let off the throttle a little bit, but still hold it a little so that you can continue moving while holding the wheelie, and then just keep your finger over the brake. So if it is an emergency or you go too far back, you hit your brake. And being that you're in eco, it's not as much torque. So if you hit the gas a little bit, it won't just throw you back like if it's in sport. So just continue that, bring it right up, and just keep messing with the throttle. Another thing is a lot of these bikes come with regen, so that's like a engine brake. Me personally, I keep it on the lowest setting. So regen 1, that's like really no regen at all, just a little bit maybe. It just makes it easier to have the bike up without the engine brake trying to bring the bike down. Because now it's like, if you're not used to it, it's like you're fighting the engine brake to keep the bike up. So I would say put it in regen 1 and learn like that. But if you learn a different way, that's good as well. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. And then once you completed the first step, which is both feet down, you completed the second step, which is 1 foot down, and then now you can have both feet on the bike, and you could start in eco. Really the goal is to wheelie in sport, because that's where you have the most power, so you could do more with it. But you want to start in eco always, unless you're just comfortable on bikes and sport is the better way for you. But in eco, you're gonna go under about 6 miles per hour now that you have both feet on the bike, and you're just gonna hit the throttle almost all the way, or just as much as you need till you feel the wheel coming up. And once you feel the wheel coming up, you just do the same thing that you did with when you had one foot down. It may feel weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's actually pretty comfortable. So I'll show you that now. We in eco. We're going 7 miles per hour, 6. Eco. This way you get the control. You're going a lot slower. Hit your brake, hit your gas, brake, just like that. That's really why I would recommend eco, is because the control factor is that you get more control over your bike when you do wheelies slower. You could go fast, you know, it'll pick up easier, but it's no control. So if you swerve out or you crash, it's gonna be a bad situation. But in eco, you could just go at a slow speed. So I just pull up on the bars. I'm going about 5-6 miles per hour. Pull up, gas it, and just keep it at balance point. And when I need the brake, I hit the brake like now, I'm holding it. Gas, brake, gas, brake. Pretty much just like that. Now that you're comfortable with both feet on the pegs in eco mode wheeling, just keep practicing in eco. I would say just get that brake control and throttle control. You know, even if you do a pretty good wheelie at first, still practice, because sport mode is a whole different thing. The torque and the power is completely different. So it would take some getting used to. But once you've completed those steps and you do that over and over again till you get the bike down packed, you know how the bike feels. It's pretty easy to bring it up on the dime when you hit the gas. Then you good. You put it in sport, but you see sport, it's a little more torquey. So you don't really have to pick up on the bars as much in sport when you're going slower. So like right now I'm going 13 miles per hour and I don't even have to pick up on the bars. I could just hit the gas and the bike is up. So as you can see, sport doesn't really take much effort to pick the bike up. But that's the dangerous part, because that's where the throttle control comes in. You have to know how much to give the throttle so that you don't bring the bike up too aggressively. You want to bring it up smooth and very controllable. So it's just all muscle memory, practicing. The more you practice, the faster you'll learn. So it wouldn't, like for me, I never had help or a teacher. You know, I always just learned on my own. From when I was a kid on pedal bikes, I learned how to wheelie on my own. So it took a little longer, but I feel like if you get the right knowledge on how to do it, it should be a little bit easier. So that's pretty much like what I would say. And just a quick, I guess, video on how I would teach somebody. It's pretty simple. It's really all just balance and brake and control, and everything comes with time. Nobody gets on the bike and wheelies the first time. You know, this stuff takes years, especially if you don't have no teacher or nobody to show you what to do. This ain't something you just learn overnight. So just take your time, have fun, keep practicing. As long as you're having fun, you'll progress faster, in my opinion, because once it becomes miserable, it's like you don't really want to do it no more. And that's it. And then once you do get it down packed, you'll never want to stop. You're going to always want to throw up your wheel and wheelie. And that's like just some quick things I could think about. I'm sure I could go more in detail in person teaching somebody, but just for video purposes, that's what I could think of as far as learning to wheelie on an electric dirt bike, or pretty much any electric bike, really. And once you get good at it, this is what it should look like. You just come, pull up on the bars, just like that, in sport mode. And I hope the little piece of advice that I gave can help somebody out there. You know, I know it's not as good as being in person and showing somebody, but I'm telling you, if you practice the first 2 steps, keeping your 2 feet down and then keeping your 1 foot down, that's gonna help tremendously, and you'll notice that. You just got to keep doing it. So with that being said, it was just a quick tutorial on how to wheelie, just because people been asking. And I just hope, you know, everybody be safe and take your time and just try to learn the right way, and that's it, you know. So I'm gonna end the video out here, and I hope whatever I said helped somebody out there.